Donk Nation, Jax and Janet's greetings and welcome to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you some Steelers talk. We're going to do a quick preview here of the Cleveland Browns game. We're going to have Gingy on a little later this week, hopefully, to recap the Ravens game and the Browns game. Browns game's a Thursday night game. I had some things that needed to be taken care of, so the timing couldn't match up to get Ginger or Laskers on before the Browns game. But I talked to them both, got their picks for the game, and got Gingy's keys to the game before everything happened here right now to get you this preview going before the game takes place. If you want to hear my take on the Ravens game, Bug Cap is a really good spot to get it. We'll get Gingy's take and a little more in-depth take about both the Browns and the Ravens game, like I said, later. But the Bug Cap's a great spot to get my take on what happened in the Ravens game. If you don't know, always good to beat the Ravens. Always an ugly game. I don't know if you can really take anything from it because, well, that's just how Steelers-Ravens football's played. But this week, Steelers, Thursday Night Football, fake football against the Browns. God, I hate fake football because you're not prepped. You're not actually done. Maybe doing it against division opponent is better because you know the people inside and out. Although the cast and characters of this Browns team's a little different than what's been expected in the past. If you are curious, I believe Madden picked the Steelers to lose to the Browns. I, of course, picked the Steelers to lose the Browns in this one because I hate road Thursday games, and I thought the Browns would be a pretty decent team. And I'm going to keep my preseason prediction, so I'll do that. But Gingy Lasker's coming in later. It's going to be funny because maybe my preseason prediction isn't exactly how I really feel about this game. But we get into Steelers and Cleveland history. 81 and 63 and 1 all time is the record. For the Steelers at home, they're 51 and 22. Of course, this game's on the road where the Steelers are 30, 41 and 1. The largest win was Cleveland 51 to nothing in 1989. Pittsburgh's biggest win was 43. That's 43 to nothing in 1999. The longest streak is Pittsburgh at 12 from 03 to 09. And Cleveland had 8 from 1950 to 53. The current streak is the Browns, of course, winning the last matchup. I believe it was at Cleveland 13 to 10 last year. So what's different this year about the Browns? I mean, obviously, Deshaun Watson's not there due to injury. Jameis Winston has stepped in and has actually played pretty well, I guess you could say. I mean, he led them to a win at one game. He threw for 400 yards last week. The defense that was supposed to be the focal point of this team has playmakers, but struggles to get things done by and large. I mean, yeah, Myles Garrett is nice to have out there. They got rid of Smith, I believe, in a trade. It's they have decent interior guys. Owusu Koromora, the middle linebacker that I liked coming out of college from Notre Dame, was having a great year. He got hurt, so he's not going to be playing. On the back end, they have talent on the roster. There's no doubt about that when you look at what these guys have produced. I mean, front end guys, Myles Garrett, we talked about guy like that. Grant Delpit on the back end. Devin Bush is actually playing a lot for them. I think he's fourth on their team in tackles, probably having what is arguably his best season. The former Steeler. Not living it up like I thought he might be, though. Like I said, Zadarius Smith is gone. Myles Garrett only has 7 sacks on the year. Dalvin Tomlinson, their big guy in the middle, he's a good run stopper, has a few sacks here or there. But you're really seeing guys who are supposed to be big-time playmakers, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, high draft corners who have, one interception between the two of them. The Browns as a team have, I think, 2 interceptions total. The talent level that they were allegedly to have on this defense just has not shown up for them for whatever reason. You can say what it is. Maybe they just were never as good as they were put out to be. On paper, this should be an easy win for the Steelers offense against this defense, but we all know how Thursday night is. We all know how AFC North football is. I'll break it down to you in the words of Gingy because I think this is a good. Actually, we'll break down where the Browns rank in the NFL before we get into what Gingy said. Offensively, the Browns are 31st in points. That's 27th in yards. We break that down to 20th in passing yards, 29th in rushing yards, 11th, though, in time of possession. Defensively, points against are 24th. Yards, they're 19th. Passing yards are 16th. Rushing yards are 24th. It's not good. Sacks, they're 9th, the only spot they're top 10. Interceptions with 2, they're 30th. So yeah, just not a lot of production going on anywhere. Um, you know, Jameis Winston really seemed to get some connections going last week. That's the biggest problem to me. The words of Gingy here is, of course, this is going to be a snot knock or AFC North football. You know, Gingy says that. Buckle up both chin straps, maybe even add in. Maybe be one of the people who has the 4 chin straps, so that thing stays there. Thursday night, so he's expecting some sloppy play, some sloppy football, a low scoring, maybe not typical for Thursday because we've seen some explosive ones recently, but low scoring, sloppy football game, typical Steelers AFC North type of football game, right? He's really looking to avoid, and the way he said this is he's nervous of an emotional tally from the emotional toll of the Ravens game, leaving the door open for just a letdown against the Browns. So he really wants to be on the lookout for that type of stuff. And of course, the Steelers special teams. He didn't say this, but this is what I'm bringing to. The Steelers special teams has been absolutely probably the biggest part of this team. So I would not be surprised to see them be huge in this again. Like I said, you got Jameis Winston going in there. He's a guy who throws some interceptions. When you consider he's thrown the ball a lot less than Deshaun Watson, but he's accounted for more touchdowns passing touchdowns. He's thrown as many interceptions. He's a little more risky with the ball. He's a guy who will take chances. Nick Chubb just came back. He has not played really well, but you expect him to get better and better as it goes on and get touches. So maybe he's slightly better and looks decent at least in this game. Receiving wide, Jerry Judy's been the guy there. I mean, he has almost 600 yards. And Njoku, tight end, definitely can be a challenge for a team like the Steelers. Guys who are a little shiftier, you have Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore filling in those other spots now after they traded away Cooper. Really, the running backs don't do a whole lot out of the backfield. I guess Jerome Ford would probably be the highest one there. He's also leading the team in rushing, but you expect to see a lot more Chubb. Big physical backs with Chubb and Donta Foreman out there. A field goal kicker who's been pretty good or pretty bad, and Dustin Hopkins only making 70% of his kicks. Missed a 20-yarder, missed one in the 40-yard range, and is only making half his kicks from 50 plus. So again, another one where the X factor probably looking like the Steelers special teams. If I was gonna break it down, and I'll just give what my cash or trash type of statements would be. Offensively, the Steelers, you're looking for Russell Wilson to play the clean game, no turnovers. You're looking to get George Pickens back into the end zone with over 70 yards receiving. Tight end wise, I'm looking for the 3 of them, or the 4 of them, Pruitt, Hayward, Washington, and of course Freiermuth, to put over 80 yards receiving. Offensive line wise, I'm looking to keep Myles Garrett and that Browns under 2 sacks. And Najee Harris needs to get back over that 4 yards of carry mark to really help establish the run game. That's what I'm looking for. X factors, offense, or as my cash or trash. Offensively, those would be my 5 things. Offensively, what I see here is another game where the Steelers don't really succeed in the red zone, show some struggles, but put up around 20 points, and we'll see if that's going to be enough. We flip the side over to, and I think they struggle running the ball personally. We flip the ball. We see the defense. I think TJ Watt against a defense or an offensive line in Cleveland that has struggled back and forth getting there. I think that's going to be a spot to be exploited. So TJ Watt for over 1.5 sacks. I think the defense struggles, and I think you see Nick Chubb, got hurt versus Steelers last year, really pushing this year to do it and have this be the game where he shows out, and I think he does. I think Chubb runs for over 4 yards of carry and 2 touchdowns. I think Jameis Winston throws an aggressive amount of plays, and I think he makes 2+ turnovers throwing the football. I think you see David Njoku break 100 yards receiving. And finally, I think you see the Cleveland Browns have a pretty good day, I'll say, with 3 offensive touchdowns, which means when you look at what I'm going for on this side of the ball defensively, I think the Steelers struggle with the run. I think they struggle containing the tight end. I think it's sloppy on Thursday football. I think the communication's a little more off than it normally is. And I just think it's an ugly game. I think the defense, after the way they played in that Baltimore game, gave everything into it. The Browns, obviously, coming off a bye, have a little more time. Or they're not coming off. Not coming off a bye, coming off a loss to the Saints. Neither one of us have that much time, but they don't have the travel. Getting a little confused here. It's next week, Cincy coming off the bye, and we're coming off the pseudo bye. I'm getting a week ahead of myself. I'm sorry there, everybody. But I see the Steelers causing turnovers, making sacks, and giving up points. I see mistakes happening all around. I see the Steelers capitalizing on some and making some themselves and giving up 24-ish, somewhere in there, maybe 27, depending on if Hopkins actually makes both of his field goal attempts. So let's go ahead. Let's just get into the picks for this game. We'll be back later in the week for the rest of the picks. We have Gingy saying he likes this low-scoring typical game to favor the Steelers in a 16-14 win, with Jaylen Warren being the guy who is going to make the difference. Laskers likes the Browns 21-8 with an X factor of Njoku. And I picked them in the early season. I said I'm going to pick whoever the heck I said for the Steelers 9-8 record. That's going to be my picks this year, no matter what. It's a little different. I feel a little more confident about this Browns game. But I had to put the numbers the way they were because I picked them to lose in the preseason. So I picked the Steelers to lose this game 24-20 with an X factor of I really feel this is going to be the first game where you see Nick Chubb look kind of maybe a little vintage. My shout out for this week is without a doubt Chris Boswell. He literally was the whole Steelers offense again. So yeah, kudos, dude. Way to be amazing. That's just a case the Friday thing with Gingy doesn't happen. I'm gonna throw my shout out here, and I'll have another one for that if we do it. Be sure to tune in later in the week to see the recap for the Ravens game and the Browns game. Hopefully, both of them. And make sure you come and join us all here in Donk Nation, having fun on the YouTube channel, Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. I am the Viking Donkey. It's Viking_Donkey at Twitch and Twitter. Your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger, like I just said, is a YouTube channel where we have all this fun. Make sure you catch the Bugcasts. Make sure you catch, hopefully, a double recap with Gingy later in the week. And Donk Nation, Steeler Nation, be ready. It's Thursday football. It's on Prime. Wave them if you got them. Here we go.